The biodome hummed with artificial life as Essa walked through the crystalline corridors of the Jakara diplomatic station. Earth had made first contact 3 years ago, and humanity was still figuring out how to navigate a galaxy that had been colonized for millennia. Most species viewed humans as charmingly primitive, aggressive, emotional, and hopelessly idealistic. Essa had been assigned to the Cultural Exchange Program, a glorified internship where he mostly filed reports and tried not to embarrass his species. But there was one reason he showed up every day with enthusiasm: Maya. She was Jakara, a species that resembled humans in the most uncanny ways: bipedal, expressive faces, but with skin that shimmered like liquid mercury under certain lights and eyes that held 3 pupils instead of 1. The Jakara were known throughout the galaxy as master diplomats, patient observers who had brokered peace between warring civilizations for thousands of years. Maya worked in the xenobiology department, studying Earth's ecosystems with the kind of fascination that made Essa's heart race. She would spend hours asking him about oceans, about rainforests, about the concept of seasons. The Jakara homeworld had been climate-controlled for so long that natural weather was a fairy tale to them. "The clouds just form?" she had asked once, her 3 pupils dilating with wonder. "No one programs them?" "No one programs them," Essa had confirmed, grinning at her amazement. Over months, their professional relationship had evolved into something deeper. Shared meals in the station's observation deck, late-night conversations about philosophy and music, moments where their hands would accidentally brush and neither would pull away. But there was a problem. The Jakara didn't date. They had bonding ceremonies, genetic compatibility assessments, family negotiations that could take years. The idea of 2 individuals simply choosing to spend time together romantically was considered reckless, even dangerous. Emotions, the Jakara believed, were too volatile to be trusted with something as important as partnership. This was the human flaw, the Jakara elders would say. Humans felt too much, trusted their hearts over logic, and it led to chaos. Essa knew all of this. He had read the cultural briefings, attended the sensitivity seminars, understood that pursuing Maya could create an interstellar incident. But as he watched her study a holographic projection of a thunderstorm, her face illuminated with childlike joy, he realized he didn't care about protocol anymore. "Maya," he said, his voice steadier than he felt. She looked up, and those triple pupils focused on him with an intensity that made his breath catch. "Can you go on a date with me?" The silence stretched between them like the void of space. Essa could hear his own heartbeat, could feel every human instinct screaming at him that he'd just ruined everything. Then Maya smiled. It wasn't the polite diplomatic smile she gave to ambassadors and visiting dignitaries. It was genuine, radiant, and utterly transformative. Her skin shimmered through a spectrum of colors, something Essa had learned happened when Jakara experienced intense emotion they couldn't suppress. "Yes," she said simply. Essa blinked. "Yes? Yes." Maya stood, closing the distance between them. "Do you know what the elders say about your species, Essa? They say humans are dangerous because you choose with your hearts. They say you're unpredictable, that you make decisions based on feeling rather than calculation." She reached out, her fingers hovering near his hand before finally making contact. Her skin was warm, electric. "But I've been studying your species for months now," she continued, her voice dropping to something intimate, conspiratorial. "And I've learned something the elders don't understand. You choose with your hearts, yes, but your hearts are wiser than our algorithms. You've built civilizations on hope. You've crossed impossible distances because you felt it was right. You've created art and music and literature that moves souls across species barriers. Her 3 pupils were fully dilated now, her skin cycling through gold and silver and something that looked like starlight. "My people have forgotten how to feel," Maya said. "We've optimized emotion out of our existence because we were afraid of making mistakes. But humanity makes mistakes constantly, and yet you keep trying, you keep hoping, you keep loving." Essa felt something catch in his throat. "So, is that a yes to the date?" Maya laughed, a sound he'd never heard from her before, genuine and unburdened by diplomatic restraint. "That's a yes to everything, Essa. The date, the scandal, the disapproval of the elders, all of it." "They'll remove you from the cultural exchange program," Essa warned. "Then I'll request a transfer to Earth." Her smile turned mischievous. "I want to see these clouds that form without programming. I want to feel rain, and I want to do it with someone who still believes that feelings matter." Essa pulled her into an embrace, and she responded without hesitation, her arms wrapping around him as naturally as if they'd done this 1,000 times before. Around them, the biodome continued its cycle, artificial and controlled. But in that moment, 2 beings from different worlds created something real, something that couldn't be calculated or optimized or predicted by any algorithm in the galaxy. They created a choice based purely on feeling. And perhaps that, Essa thought as he held her, was the most human thing of all. Not just to feel, but to trust those feelings enough to act on them, consequences be damned. "So," Maya murmured against his shoulder, her voice warm with amusement, "what exactly does a date involve?" Essa laughed, pulling back to look at her. "I guess we'll figure it out together." And in the cosmic scheme of things, in a galaxy governed by logic and calculation and diplomatic precision, 2 beings decided that figuring it out together was enough. It was messy. It was uncertain. It was completely, wonderfully human. And Maya wouldn't have chosen anything else.